And it's gone. Affirmative action is no more. Meritocracy, big win for meritocracy, much needed win for meritocracy today. Yep, unconstitutional to consider race in university admissions. 6-3 decision. Again, overturned a 2003 decision that reaffirmed the right of universities to consider race as one of the admissions factors. Ruling is going to force a reworking of admissions criteria throughout American higher education, where for decades the pursuit of diversity has been an article of faith. Diversity. What a crock. I mean, honest to God, this whole thing has been such a scam from the get-go. The 14th Amendment ensures that individuals receive equal protection of the laws from state agencies, including public universities, a standard that also applies to most private colleges that receive federal funding. So I would guess that if these schools gave up all federal funding, they might be able to go back to that, but I don't see them doing that. Again, I got a chart here. This is it's basically 7 highly selective universities. 7 highly selective universities. And it was adjusting for factors such as race. How do you have to score on your SATs to have an equal chance of admission by race? So we'll just have the white score being the baseline. If you're Asian, 140-point penalty. So let me kind of put it to you this way. Okay. If you were competing against you were Asian and you were competing against a white person and you both got 1,200 on your SATs. If you're Asian, you didn't really get 1,200. They deduct 140 points from your score. If you're Hispanic, you get a 130-point bonus. If you're Black, you get a 310-point bonus. That's astronomical. I mean, it's astronomical. I got kids right now, 2 that are in college that dealt with this, and one that's looking to improve his SAT scores, and they did pretty good. But a 310-point bonus, if you get a pedestrian score, let's just say you get 1,000. Pedestrian score. You all of a sudden got a 1310. Wow. Again, you get the liberal justices, they voted against this, and they were pretty strident in their opinions, saying, oh my God, like anybody think that we live in a color-blind world? No. Let me tell you something. We're never going to live in a color-blind world. There's always going to be racists. There's always going to be bigots. That's not going to change. I think, in the case of these highly selective universities, I think it's, more tuned to a caste system than it is anything else. I covered it here on the program. Wall Street Journal admitted it. That, you're a white male, you want to get into Harvard, you better play a sport. You better play a sport and be pretty darn good at it, because if not, not happening. It is not happening. And again, here's Ketanji Brown Jackson. Court ignores the dangerous consequences of an America where its leadership does not reflect the diversity of the people. The diversity. I don't. Again, it's like just they do the same thing now with ESG on corporate boards. I don't care. I never have. I'm not saying that some people do. Some people do. There's racists that are out there. There's no doubt about it. But come on, it's not just by color. It can be by nationality, for crying out loud. It is. It can be by nationality. Okay, I my mother-in-law, for an example. She needs to find a doctor. There's a Greek doctor on the list. She's going to that one. That's who she is. I could care less either way. But some people are like that. Does that make her a, I don't know, not racist? What would that be? But she's picking a certain group for a certain reason. Again, I don't get it. What else did they have to say here? They said with let them eat cake obliviousness today, the majority pulls the ripcord and announces color blindness for all by legal fiat. By determining race, irrelevant law does not make it so in life. And having so detached itself from the country's actual past and present experiences, the court has now been lured into interfering with the crucial work that UNC and other institutions of higher ed learning are doing to solve America's real world problems. They're not solving anything with this. Never done anything. And I'm gonna be straight up and honest with you. I've got clients that are all over the country, many who are very, very accomplished in life. A late friend of mine died way too young. Probably one of the best eye surgeons in the country, bar none. And basically a genius type of, he was just really, really smart guy. And he was an orphan. Full ride, University of Texas, LSU Medical School, and went on to all these other things. He's one of the best in the country. Was one of the best in the country. Anyway, he's telling me about his experience. Telling me about experience in medical school, with the people that they let into medical school that were his classmates that had no business being there. No business being there, and they got there simply because of affirmative action. And they flunked out. Why would you put somebody in that position? Why would you put somebody in that position? If you're willing to do this, okay, let's try to use some logic here. Let's try to be Socratic in this. If what you're saying is that you are going to raise people's SAT scores by over 300 points in an effort to keep them in, get them into that school, what does it say about your school? As far as it's, basically it kind of lets the, basically showing the emperor has no clothes. Just really, is there a difference between Harvard and the University of Albany? Is there? How big of a difference is it? Oh, I'm sure, it's a fancier campus, right? I mean, you've got these very, very tough admission standards, those tough admission standards. You only should come in if you're able to compete in there. But if you're saying people that haven't done as well in high school can get in and graduate and do well, what does that say? See, medical school is a whole different ball of wax. I mean, different. I mean, they can carry you in some of these for an undergraduate degree and make sure that you find your way through. But what does it say? I mean, the whole thing is a load of bunk, and I hope it continues to spread out here. You want to really live in try to live in a colorblind society, which is nearly impossible. Well, again, you're going to have to get rid of things like this. Sorry, folks. It is what it is. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.